Radio Energy, broadcasting to you live. Go to radioenerg.net.
Scotland, of course, played 2 games this week. In the World Cup qualifying, they started off with a 1-1 draw at home to Lithuania, and that was followed up by a 3-0 away defeat to Slovakia. It's been an abject week, where Scotland have only picked up 1 point out of a possible 6, and they really have a lot of ground to make up if they are to qualify for the World Cup in Russia in 2 years' time. Michael, I'll start with you.
Okay.
You've been wanting to get a bit off your chest.
Yeah, well...
shall I just leave you to it? I think I will.
I'm not going to go in the long rant at the moment because it will take up quite a bit of time. Do we have time?
We'll build up to that.
Right, okay.
But go on.
I'm just typing in my password here, so I will get onto it. But basically, right.
What was the main thing that you really felt disappointed about?
I'm going to take it from this perspective. I went to both. Well, I didn't go to both games, obviously. I went to the home game, and just the lack of urgency from Scotland was unbelievable. I must say, it took from where I was watching the first half. We didn't trouble them. They didn't trouble us. It was all played in the middle of the park. As soon as Lithuania scored, Scotland just turned on. They looked like they were going to score, but before that we had nothing going forward, nothing at the back, and it took Lithuania to score for us to go, alright, here, we've actually got to do something. It was just like it was there, and Lithuania were there for the taking. It was a given that we're going to beat them, and they're actually a decent side. No matter where they're ranked in the world, they are a decent side, and no one can take that away from us. But it's infuriating at home in this kind of group where every team is going to take points off each other that we are dropping points against the weakest teams.
Yeah.
It is really frustrating.
At home as well, and it's a given that Scotland have to win their home games if they're going to have any chance. And the thing that really struck me in that first half that you mentioned there, the complete lack of movement, urgency, pace, and you can maybe put that down to the team selection, David. Gordon Strachan, he picked Chris Martin up front on his own, Fletcher in midfield. What did you think about the team selection?
I think it's just you have to be brutally honest. It's just poor. You could even go as far as saying it's unacceptable. The fact that Scotland have a wide selection of strikers at their disposal. For example, you've got Naismith, Fletcher. You've got even Lee Griffiths as well, and he continues to play a formation where he has only one forward on top, and a forward that looks at most stages quite lost. We saw in the game against Malta, I think it was Snodgrass was acting more as that striker because nothing was getting created in that first half, and it was not until Snodgrass went further up the field that they got those 4 goals in the second half, and we've just not seen that in these last 2 games. No. I think the fact that the full-backs as well, not really sure what to do. I think the goal that we conceded in the first leg, Robertson just went far too deep and instantly space was created and we conceded a goal. So the fact that you've got 2 full-backs in both games, not sure if they're acting as wing-backs or they're defensive backs. For me, full-backs, you need to learn how to defend first before you go and decide to attack.
Can I jump in? Sorry.
Aye, of course.
Lucky to win in Malta after they got a guy sent off for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And in my opinion, the fullbacks were the best players out the 2 games. Tierney, Robertson, Patterson, I can't fault them, they were alright. It was the fact, against Slovakia in particular, we're playing Robert Snodgrass right mid. He's never played right mid in his career, and he's no tracking back. Callum Patterson's 2-on-1 constantly with 2 Slovakian attackers who are rapid. I've never seen wingers that quick before. And Callum Patterson's been left 2-on-1 every single time, and Snodgrass is jogging back. It happened for the first goal. It happened for the second one as well. It's just, he can't play that position. And the thing is, Strachan has Akitse Anya, he's got James Forrest, who are natural wide players. Why is he playing a central midfielder on the wing? It just does not make any sense to me.
And we've seen as well, with Snodgrass this season for Hull, that he's been bagging in goals, and the reason because that is he's central and he's getting a lot of the ball and he's got a lot of freedom with the ball, and he moves into space and he's scoring goals. But when you put a player like that out wide who's not really used to that position, and he's not as Michael was saying, a lot of pace as the other players who could preferably play wide, he's going to be a lot slower. I think in those 2 games that they did play in the past week, Snodgrass was the one who acting as just a midfield player sending balls in, and he's not that type of player. He's a player that gets the ball, likes to move the field, likes to beat defenders and score goals. and whatever system Strachan's trying to work with him, making him as a chance creator and just try to play long ball and win headers, it's just not acceptable. Like the goal we scored in the first leg, you could put down a bit of luck as well to get that chance to score from a header, but for the Scotland team we shouldn't be just relying on set pieces and crosses. We should just be attacking, play counter-attacking football.
So the sort of consensus we're getting out of this is that maybe Strachan's approach to both games was wrong. At home to Lithuania, we're playing too many long balls to Chris Martin. You maybe don't need Fletcher in midfield. Scotland only get a point. They then go away to Slovakia. Difficult place to go. We obviously know about their strong players. Hamsik, for one.
Yeah.
And Strachan changes the approach, maybe looking to play a bit more attacking football. And to be fair to him, Scotland looked all right for the first 25 minutes. But Bryce, they concede 3 goals, and it probably is the wrong approach.
I think the main thing that they did wrong about Slovakia was Scotland gave them far too much time on the ball. They were not kind of closing down anywhere on the park, and you can't give players and teams like that much time on the ball. They're going to punish you.
Yeah.
We looked scared, and that's the thing I got from it. As soon as we went 1-0 down, the heads dropped. We were obviously very unlucky to go 1-0 down because the foul on Fletcher up front was as clear as day.
We'll mention the foul, but I don't want to go too much into that because
they then go 90 yards up the pitch and score.
They've still got a lot to do from there.
There's one free man in the box to 9 Scottish players. It does not make any sense. And
the free man's Hamsik.
Yeah.
Like
Hamsik at the back post, and then the guy running in.
He's quite easy to spot, lads. He's the guy with the big Mohican.
Yeah. Best player out there, isn't he?
I think I'm paraphrasing when I say this, but when Strachan said Scotland look a bunch of team that are just scared players, and he said that in the summer, and the fact that we can't perform is because we don't have the likes of Bale, we don't have Ronaldo, we don't have like the Messi type players. That's fine, but when you see teams like Hungary, you see Iceland, you see even Northern Ireland, all teams of average players, maybe bar 1 or 2 players, a team of average players, so to say, and they're qualifying, they're going to the Euros, they're going to the World Cup, and we've just not putting the performance in when we should.
Team spirit can do a lot, and currently Scotland. I've been a
fan of Strachan ever since he came in. I've backed him 100% until now. Until now, when it's clear as day what is wrong with the team. Team selection is abysmal. He said Chris Martin was superb against Lithuania.
Yeah.
I didn't see him touch the ball once. And he's got Griffiths sitting there who scored 50 odd goals in the past 2 years. I don't understand it from that point of view.
Yeah, we'll come on to talk about Gordon Strachan. Obviously, he's been Scotland manager since January 2013. He's been here for 3.5 years now, but the sort of impression that you're getting is things have gone a bit stale. You were at Hampden, obviously, against Lithuania. What was the atmosphere like? It looked a bit ugly when they were 1-0 down. Yeah,
obviously, it's going to a Scotland game's great if you ever get the chance to go, guys, because it is good. Before the game, everyone's drinking. It's always quite a good time. Mixing with the Lithuanian fans, it was all friendly and stuff. It was great. And then as soon as Scotland play, it's as if
it sucks.
Yeah, it's just
it sucks everything out of the stadium.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
There's a great atmosphere on the way to the ground. Flower of Scotland, brilliant. Everyone's singing and stuff. And then the game comes on. And it's flat. I don't understand. I don't understand how people, the Scotland players in particular, aren't right up for it. You see them half-heartedly singing the national anthem. Say about that what you will, I don't really care. But then they go out and it looks like they've frozen on the spot, and they're, as people have been saying, I think they're scared. I think that there's so much pressure on Scotland. Not qualified for a World Cup in a major tournament since France '98. But it's just, being a Scotland fan for me is soul destroying, because I was in France for the Euros. You see Northern Ireland, they've only got 20 odd players who are actually professional footballers, and they qualify. In Scotland we've got this factor where it's like, what is it, small man syndrome, can you say it? Where it's not some, you know what I'm saying. It's kind of like,
do we, Michael?
You should know, because it's like
we have quite a defeatist attitude at times.
We have accepted defeat before it's begun, basically, and that's the thing that really annoys me. Northern Ireland, Michael O'Neill comes in there, makes a country of like 100 people qualify. Quite disrespectful, yes. For the Euros, you got Iceland up there, who Scotland have beaten 4 times in the past 10 years. they're off to the Euros as well. Eidur Gudjohnsen gets his good farewell from football, which is pretty nice as well. But it's just...
And the fact they beat England as well.
And I
And
feel
it's
sorry.
something they made look easy, which Scotland have struggled to do in the past few years.
Yeah, so we'll move on to this now. Looking at the future. Scotland's next game is against England in November.
Yes.
And at the moment, there is no way I can possibly see Scotland going to Wembley
Yeah.
and getting a result. It's a difficult question, but it needs to be asked. Should Strachan leave? Bryce, I'll come to you first.
Bryce.
Yes, I think it's time. I think it's time for a new manager. I think if they manage to get someone in who can even just boost morale in the squad, get them all working, get all the players working together, a few new tactics, then we do have a chance. We've gone to Wembley before and surprised. We do have that on our side at the moment, the kind of surprise factor of, well, what can you do?
Well, we certainly did it during Strachan's first few months in the job, but of
Yeah.
course things are quite fresh and quite optimistic then.
Yeah.
It's a very different mood at the moment. Michael, what would you do?
Right, I'm not sure because I'm very much for the Strachan out campaign, but I don't know whether it's best to get rid of Strachan before we go to Wembley
Right, so
and go to Wembley without a manager.
so next 3 games, just for context.
Right.
England away,
Yes.
Slovakia at home in
Mhm.
March, Slovenia at home,
Yeah.
in March, and England at home in
See,
June.
The problem for us, we've made, maybe not the England away game, but the 2 home games, we've made them must-win
Yeah.
because we've lost to Lithuania.
Drew
drew Lithuania.
Dropped points to Lithuania.
Dropped points to
yeah.
Lithuania and lost to Slovakia.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Scotland never start these qualifications very well at all, and we're always end up chasing after the points at the end. We had it this year for the Euros with Ireland. We're actually, I'll give it to Strachan, we were unlucky not to qualify for the Euros because Ireland beating Germany, it was kind of a special occasion for them.
But still,
Wasn't
you're
gonna
losing
happen,
away
but-
to Georgia.
Yeah, we're losing away to teams like Georgia. We've beaten Ireland away from home, who were our closest rivals, and I believe we are better than Ireland individually as players. But yeah, we're dropping points to Georgia, where Ireland are going over
Yeah.
and keeping clean sheets and winning.
And David, I'll come to you last of all. What would you do?
Well, after our last, I think the kind of qualification game that kind of took Scotland out of qualifying for the Euros, the game against Poland, I remember after that game I was just thinking a lot of the kind of Strachan out campaign kind of sparked around then, but at that point I was saying to myself, and I was saying I think to my dad as well, who I was at the game with, that he's the best man for the job. There's not really someone out there who could come in to replace him, and it's kind of same principle lies at the moment, that there's not really an outstanding manager who wants a Scotland job.
Well,
But saying that, it is, I think, time for him to go. I think he's done a lot of great things with the Scotland team. I'm not shied away from against that. He's done a lot of good things. He's improved a lot of things. But when you've got games like this, like the past week, where you have to win or you have to get points, and he's just not done that. And the thing I think with Strachan is he feels he has to be loyal with a lot of players, and even before the squad's announced, alright, he's coming in, that player's playing there. And now we've got to a point where it's just that these players are almost redundant who play league, championship football either in Scotland or in England, and when they go to the international level, they get a bit of almost like a fright where they don't know how intense it's going to be. I think if they were to get someone in, his name escapes me a moment, I'm sure Michael can look him up, but the Norwich City manager,
Alex Neil.
Alex Neil.
Alex Neil, yeah.
I think he'd be a perfect fit. He's well, not young but younger than Strachan. I think he's got a lot of experience of the intensity of the play in the Premier League, coming against a lot of these big teams, and although they did get relegated and now they're fighting for promotion again, I think a manager like that who knows how intense it'll be, who knows how important this job is and qualification is, and I think he could bring something special to the Scotland team. And if it was anyone to replace Strachan, I think it should be him.
Okay. That's been quite a fairly interesting discussion there.
Yeah, I would love to keep it going.
Quite in
but
depth as well. But yeah, as I said, Scotland's next game away to England in November. We'll just have to see if anything happens in the next few weeks in
Yeah.
terms of the manager.
we can only pray.
Hear it, feel it. Listen again at www.radioenrg.net.